Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. March Madness continues. Friday, we got another 16 games loading. I'm recording this and there's still plenty of action left, so I don't know how I did yet. I'm off to a pretty good start. So I took the loss with BYU. I started 1-2 with my picks in the first three, and I was like, here we go again. March Madness is going to crush me. But then I got Oregon, and if I get this Nevada game, there's still 3 minutes left in that, but they're winning. I'll be in pretty good shape. So actually, I might be off to, Dayton just hit a 3. So we'll see how this one plays out. But yeah, I'm going to go through about 8 games, and whenever I don't get through, same schedule as yesterday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time will be live. We'll go through every single game, make our final decision, so hope to see you there. But yeah, I'm going to go through 7 or 8 games. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
First up, we got Northwestern, FAU. We got an 8 versus 9 here. This line opened up FAU minus 2.5, but now it's up to 3.5. Total sitting at 142. Betting trends on the Northwestern side: 2-2 against the spread on neutral courts, 4-5-2 against the spread in non-conference games. They're coming into this one 3-2 against the spread in their last 5. On the FAU side, 6-3 against the spread on neutral courts, 9-4 against the spread in non-conference games. They're coming into this one also 3-2 against the spread in their last 5. Before we get into this one, we got to mention that Northwestern head coach Chris Collins, he's a perfect 4-0 against the spread in his career at Northwestern in the NCAA tournament. So not a good start if you plan on betting FAU here. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games definitely points towards Florida Atlantic here. In the last 10, Northwestern 6-4, 2-3 away from home. FAU is 7-3, 3-3 away from home. And FAU's actually played the slightly stronger schedule. Strength of schedule in the last 10, 73rd to 109th. Let's take a look at the matchup for Northwestern's offense. And I'd give the edge to FAU's defense based on these numbers, but they're definitely going to struggle to create turnovers. 8th to 294th, so I don't expect many turnovers from Northwestern in this game, but FAU does have the edge in EFG and offensive rebounding rate. Shot zones on this side of the court, I mean, I guess we could point at the mid-range shooting for Northwestern. They do take a lot of mid-range shots. Thing is, they're not really hitting them. And efficiency from the short mid-range, 336th. From the long mid-range, 225th. FAU does play really good defense against the short mid-range shots, so really nothing there. Couldn't find anything in the shot zones here. On the other side, we got FAU's offense, and this is where you could definitely find some value on Florida Atlantic. EFG in the last 10 games, 58th to 190th. And remember, FAU's played the stronger schedule in that span. Also, FAU should get plenty of trips to the foul line here, 58th to 256th in that category. Shot zones for FAU's offense, we're looking right at the rim here because that's what FAU's been doing offensively. 30th in shot frequency at the basket, and they've been efficient down there too, 73rd in efficiency. Northwestern defensively at the rim, 261st and 193rd. So I like the matchup for FAU's offense down low. And you know what? FAU should also get looks from outside in this one. You can see above the break, Northwestern really struggling to defend the 3-ball, 311th. That being said, FAU has not really been that great shooting the 3-ball. The opportunities are going to be there, but whether or not they fall, that's a different question. Either way, I think FAU's the side here. I wish I grabbed it at 2.5. I think they're going to get whatever they want at the basket, so I'd still play it at 3.5. FAU minus 3.5 next game. We got a 5 versus 12 up next. UAB versus San Diego State. This line is now SDSU minus 7. It was at 7.5 to open, so it dropped a half point. I actually see a 6.5 open now. So line seems to be slowly moving towards the Blazers. Total sitting at 139.5. Betting trends on the UAB side: a perfect 5-0 against the spread on neutral courts, just 5-7 against the spread in non-conference play, but they've covered 5 in a row. 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. On the San Diego State side, trends don't look great. Just 2-3 against the spread on neutral courts, 4-7 against the spread in non-conference play, and just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 overall. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games: UAB 7-3 in their last 10 and 5-1 away from home in that span. San Diego State 6-4, 3-3 away from home in that span. The thing is, look at the strength of schedule. San Diego State up at 7th. They've been playing some tough Mountain West games. Meanwhile, UAB all the way back at 149. So recent production points towards UAB, but if you incorporate strength of schedule, it definitely evens out a bit. Let's take a look at the matchup for the Blazers offense, and I give the edge to UAB on this side based on these numbers, but remember, they've played a much easier schedule. These are numbers from the last 10 games, so obviously they're going to be skewed in favor of UAB. but they should get plenty of second chance opportunities. They have the edge in the rebounding department. Also should get plenty of trips to the foul line, 34th to 194th in that department. Bad news for UAB, though. They may have some trouble scoring at the rim, and that's what they like to do. They're actually 17th in shot frequency at the basket in the last 10 games. San Diego State, protecting the rim, 16th in efficiency. So I don't know if those shots at the rim are going to be there for UAB. That's a strong angle for San Diego State. That being said, mid-range shots should be there for UAB. They're 81st in efficiency. San Diego State back at 238th. So it's not all bad for UAB, but definitely worried about that matchup at the rim. When we look at the matchup for San Diego State's offense, these numbers are pretty close. I'll give the edge to San Diego State based on the strength of schedule, though, because these are numbers from the last 10. But they really haven't been making shots. They're 311th in effective field goal percentage in their last 10 games. They do have the strong rebounding edge and turnover edge, though, so they're going to have the maximum number of possessions. It's just whether or not they can finally get their shots and start falling. Shot zones for San Diego State's offense. We can look at the mid-range shooting here because San Diego State does take a lot of mid-range shots. Thing is, UAB's actually defended the mid-range shot well against the short and long mid-range shot. UAB's at 135th and 45th, so I don't know if I really like that for SDSU. As far as betting this game, I mean, I do expect San Diego State to finally show up and play better than they have been, but in my opinion, this number's still a little bit high. I actually picked UAB to advance in my bracket. I'm not going to bet them on the money line, though. I'm just going to take the 7. Give me UAB plus the points next game. 6 versus 11 up next. We got Clemson, New Mexico. Clemson is catching 2.5 points, so the 11 seed is favored here in New Mexico. Total sent at 151.5. Betting trends for the Lobos: 8-0 against the spread on neutral courts this year, 9-3 against the spread in non-conference games, and they've covered 5 in a row. 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. On the Clemson side, just 1-3 against the spread on neutral courts, 7-4 against the spread in non-conference play, just 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 overall. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games, kind of even. I mean, edge goes to New Mexico, though, based on the strength of schedule. They're both 6-4 in their last 10. Away from home, though, New Mexico's 4-3, Clemson just 2-3. And look at the strength of schedule, like I said, 28th for New Mexico, 95th for Clemson. We'll start with the matchup for New Mexico's offense, and I'd give the edge to Clemson on this side. I mean, look at effective field goal percentage in the last 10, 89th to 311th. Now, some of the other categories point towards New Mexico, specifically turnovers. So Clemson's not going to be able to create turnovers in this game, but most important stat in basketball is shot making, and Clemson has the huge edge there. Also, free throw rate. So New Mexico going to struggle to make shots, and they're going to struggle to get to the free throw line. Shot zones for New Mexico's offense, and this is where we can find a really strong angle for Clemson's defense. On the last 10 games, 34.7% of New Mexico's shot attempts have come at the basket, 79th in shot frequency at the rim. Look at Clemson's defense. They've been the strength of Clemson's defense has been protecting the rim all year. In the last 10 games, they're 6th, and it's been like that all year. The strongest part of Clemson's team is protecting the basket. So this is a New Mexico team that relies on scoring at the rim, taking shots at the rim. I don't think it's going to be there against Clemson. On the other side, we got Clemson's offense, and pretty even as far as effective field goal percentage goes. But look at the rebounding. Got to give the edge to New Mexico here just because 108th to 316th. So Clemson probably not going to get second chance opportunities in this one. And some more bad news for Clemson's offense. They take a lot of three-point shots. They're 31st in shot frequency from above the break, 93rd in efficiency, so they've been pretty good about shooting that shot. But New Mexico, 108th in defensive efficiency against the above the break 3, so I don't know if we can rely on the three-point shot being there for Clemson. So as far as betting this game, I like the matchup for both defenses, and New Mexico is going to keep this game at a snail's pace. The under's the way to go. I already grabbed it. I grabbed the under at 152. I think most books have it at 151.5. I'd still take it. As far as a side, I'd take Clemson. I think New Mexico is really going to struggle to score at the rim, and everyone seems to be taking New Mexico. So I'm on Clemson, but my favorite bet in this one would be the under at 152. Next game. 8 versus 9, Nebraska versus A&M. Huskers laying 1 point, total sitting at 147. Betting trends on the A&M side: 5-2 against the spread on neutral courts, 7-6 against the spread in non-conference play, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. On the Huskers side, they're 2-1 against the spread on neutral courts, 7-4 against the spread in non-conference play, 2-1 against the spread in their last 5 coming into this one. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games: Nebraska's 7-3 in their last 10, 3-3 away from home. Texas A&M just 5-5 in their last 10, 4-3 away from home. But look at the strength of schedule: 8th to 103rd. So Nebraska's been winning more basketball games, but they played an easier schedule. Let's start with the matchup for Texas A&M's offense, and got to give the edge to Nebraska here. I mean, look at effective field goal percentage in the last 10 games. I know they've played a weaker schedule, but damn, 8th to 340th, the most important stat in basketball, shot making, and you got a Texas A&M team that's struggling to make shots against a Nebraska team that's doing a great job contesting shots. Now, rebounding and turnovers definitely go towards Texas A&M's offense. They're going to have the maximum number of possessions, but they're not making shots. What does that even mean? Also, Texas A&M may have trouble getting to the basket in this one, and that's something they like to do offensively. They're 88th in shot frequency at the rim in their last 10 games. Look at Nebraska's defense, 25th in frequency, meaning Nebraska doesn't let you get to the basket to take those shots. So if Texas A&M can't get to the rim and take those shots they like to take, I like this matchup for Nebraska's defense. On the other side of the court, we got Nebraska's offense, and pretty close on this side. I'll give the edge to Nebraska. Again, shot making 84th to 277th. That's a serious discrepancy. Even if you incorporate strength of schedule, that still doesn't make up that big of a gap. Again, Texas A&M does have the rebounding edge on this side and free throw rate, but shot making is the most important stat. Now, if you're betting Texas A&M in this game, this is your angle right here. They played pretty solid defense against the three ball, and Nebraska loves to shoot the three ball. They're 26th in shot frequency from above the break in the last 10. Texas A&M defensive efficiency against that shot, 113th. So whether or not the three ball is going to be there for Nebraska is a big question in this one. I'm on the Huskers. I'm on them either way. So if the threes are falling, I think Nebraska is going to win this game comfortably. But even if their shots aren't falling, I like the matchup for their defense enough to keep them in this game. So I'm on Nebraska. I'll lay the point. Next game. 4-13, Alabama, Charleston. This line opened up Alabama minus 10.5. It's now down to 9.5. Betting trends on the Charleston side. 2-5 against the spread at neutral courts this year. 5-7 against the spread in non-conference play. 3-2 against the spread in their last 5. On the Alabama side, just 1-5 against the spread on neutral courts. They are 7-6 against the spread in non-conference play, but they're coming into this game just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games. I mean, at first glance, it looks great for Charleston. They're a perfect 10-0 in their last 10, 6-0 away from home in that span. Alabama just 5-5, just 2-4 away from home in that span. But look at the strength of schedule here. Alabama 10th, Charleston 160th. So these two teams not even playing in the same league in the last 10 games. When we take a look at the matchup for Charleston's offense, I mean, based on these numbers, you have to give the edge to Charleston here. Obviously, it's not as significant as these numbers indicate it is because of the strength of schedule, but still, Alabama's defense is not the strength of the team, and Charleston's been playing well offensively. So I do like the matchup for Charleston's offense, even if you incorporate strength of schedule here. The good news for Alabama's defense, though, Charleston relies heavily on the three ball. They're 14th in shot frequency from above the break. So this team launches threes. They're 17th in efficiency. So they're very good about shooting them. Alabama against that shot's actually 78th in defensive efficiency. There's not many shots that Alabama's defended well, but that happens to be one of them. On the other side of the ball, we got Alabama's offense, and it's just all tied on this side. I mean, even without the strength of schedule incorporated into this, Alabama still has the stronger numbers on this side. 80th to 132nd in EFG. Alabama also has the rebounding edge. They have almost had the edge across the board here, and that's playing a significantly stronger schedule. Shot zones for Alabama, I mean, Tide should get whatever they want at the basket in this one. In the last 10 games, Alabama 16th in shot frequency at the rim. This team is coming for the basket. And Charleston defensive efficiency at the rim, 309th. Now, they are 17th in frequency, so they've been good about keeping their opponents away from the rim, but maybe against their schedule, that'll work. Are they going to be able to keep Alabama from getting to the basket? I'd say no. Also, the three-point shot should probably be there for Alabama in this one. Alabama also takes a lot of above-the-break threes, 83rd in frequency in the last 10 games. Charleston against that shot, 290th and 247th. So as far as betting this game, I mean, I know not everyone is big on Alabama right now after that terrible performance against Florida in the SEC tournament, but on paper, they should shoot 60% from the floor in this game against Charleston, so roll Tide. I'm laying it. Alabama minus 9.5 next game. 5-12 up next. Wisconsin, James Madison. This line opened up Wisconsin minus 5.5. It's now down to 5. Total sitting at 145. Betting trends on the James Madison side. 3-1-1 against the spread on neutral courts. 7-3-1 against the spread in non-conference play. They're coming into this one 2-3 against the spread in their last 5. On the Wisconsin side, 5-1 against the spread on neutral courts, just 5-6 against the spread in non-conference play. They are coming into this one 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, though. We just saw them go on a run in the Big Ten tournament. Recent production from these two teams in the last 10 games, tough to get a read on here. James Madison, a perfect 10-0 in their last 10, a perfect 7-0 away from home in that span. But look at the strength of schedule, 295th. What the hell are we supposed to do with that? Meanwhile, Wisconsin, 6-4 in their last 10, but their strength of schedule is 6th. So, I mean, these two teams aren't even close. We're talking about a team that's played one of the strongest schedules in the country in the last 10 against a team that's 295th in strength of schedule in that span. When we take a look at the matchup for James Madison's offense, you got to give the edge to James Madison on this side, even with the strength of schedule considered. I mean, 14th to 298th in EFG. That's a serious gap. Even with the strength of schedule considered, that's still a serious gap. So, yeah, I'll give the edge to James Madison offensively. They also, look at the free throw rate, 23rd to 320th. So James Madison should score points in this game, and they should get trips to the foul line. Here's the big question mark, though, when it comes to this matchup for James Madison's offense. Are they going to be able to get to the basket here? Because in the last 10 games, almost 40% of their shot attempts come at the rim. But look at Wisconsin's defense. They're 8th in frequency, meaning they do not let you get to the rim. In fact, in the last 10 games, just 21.4% of Wisconsin's opponents' shot attempts have come at the basket. So if James Madison is able to get to the rim, Wisconsin should have some problems, but Wisconsin isn't letting anyone get to the basket. I will say, though, the three-point shot may be there for JMU. They don't take a ton of them, just 172nd in frequency, but they are 48th in efficiency. So when they do take them, they're usually hitting them at a good rate. Wisconsin just 336th in efficiency against the above the break three. Now keep in mind, these are numbers from the last 10 games. Strength of schedule is going to skew these numbers heavily in favor of JMU, but I'm sure JMU is going to get some looks from outside. On the other side, we got Wisconsin's offense, and got to give the edge to the Badgers on this side. I know looking at these numbers, it doesn't look significant, but keep in mind the strength of schedule, 6th to 295th, and still Wisconsin's got the edge numbers-wise in the last 10. So, yeah, Wisconsin's offense should have a nice matchup here. As far as shot zones, though, Wisconsin's going to attack the rim, just like James Madison is going to try. So is Wisconsin. They're 138th in frequency at the rim, 65th in frequency in the paint. So they're coming for the interior. James Madison at the rim, 28th in defensive efficiency. They've done a really good job protecting the basket, but I mean, against who? That's the big question here. Against who? Protecting the rim against James Madison's schedule is a lot different than protecting the rim from Wisconsin. So this one's just a really tough game to handicap, honestly. The strength of schedule discrepancy is so huge that I don't really know what to do with these numbers. So I picked James Madison to pull the upset off in this game, but I don't really know. The winner of this game loses to Duke, in my opinion. So I'll take James Madison plus the points. I didn't bet it. I want to see what everyone else says on the live show first, but it'll be James Madison or pass for me. Next game. 8 versus 9, we got Utah State versus TCU. Line opened up Utah State plus 3.5. It's now up to 4. Betting trends on the TCU side, 3-3 against the spread on neutral courts, 7-6 against the spread in non-conference play. They're 3-2 against the spread in their last 5 overall. On the Utah State side, 3-3 against the spread on neutral court, 5-1 against the spread in non-conference play, but Utah State coming into this one in a little bit of a slide here. 0-4-1 against the spread in their last 5. Recent production from these two teams, if we stretch it out to the last 10 games, though, actually favors Utah State. Utah State 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 4-2 away from home. TCU 5-5 in their last 10, 3-3 away from home. Strength of schedule goes to TCU, though. In the last 10 games, they're 41st. Utah State 85th. We'll start with the matchup for Utah State's defense, and I give the edge to Utah State on this side. I mean, TCU really struggling to get their shots to fall. 303rd in effective field goal percentage in the last 10. They will have the rebounding edge, though. So TCU probably will get second chance opportunities here, but I mean, shots just aren't falling for TCU right now. Shot zones for TCU's offense, I mean, I don't even know what to do with these numbers. So let's look at the matchup at the rim. 111th in frequency, but 318th in efficiency. They're not hitting their shots down there. I mean, Utah State has struggled to protect the basket, so on paper, TCU should get shots off there, but 318th in efficiency? What the hell? And check this out. It's the same story for mid-range as well. TCU takes a lot of mid-range shots, but 346th in efficiency. And Utah State struggling to defend that shot. But if TCU's not hitting them, I don't know. This is a weird one. This is definitely a weird one. On the other side, we got Utah State's offense, and I'll give the edge to Utah State on this side as well. EFG, 36th to 189th. Now, turnovers go to TCU's defense, and I'm a little worried about turnovers because it's not much TCU's been doing well recently. They have been forcing turnovers. They're 22nd in the last 10 games, so Utah State better be ready to protect the basketball in this one. Shot zones for Utah State's offense, again, really not sure what to point at here. Utah State does take a lot of those short mid-range shots, 110th in frequency, 71st in efficiency, but TCU's actually got solid defensive numbers against that shot. So really tough to find angles. To be honest, as far as betting this game, I don't have a clue in this one. I don't even have a lean. I guess I'll lean Utah State plus the points. I think I took TCU in my bracket. I just want to hear what they say on the live show because I personally don't even have a lean in this one. Next game. 5 versus 12, St. Mary's Grand Canyon. Line opened up, St. Mary's laying 4.5. It's now up to 5.5, so it's moving in favor of St. Mary's towards the Gales. Where's the total at for this one? 131.5, so low total in this one. Betting trends for Grand Canyon: 4-1 against the spread on neutral courts, 7-3 against the spread in non-conference play, 5 in a row, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. On the St. Mary's side, just 2-4 against the spread on neutral courts, 6-8 against the spread in non-conference play. They are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. Recent production from these two teams heavily points towards St. Mary's here. Grand Canyon 8-2 in their last 10, 3-2 away from home, so good for them. But look at St. Mary's, man. 9-1 in their last 10 games. Their only loss being to Gonzaga in the conference championship. And they're 6-0 away from home. And look at the strength of schedule. 90th to 222nd. So St. Mary's has a more impressive resume against a more impressive schedule. We'll start with the matchup for Grand Canyon's offense. And edge definitely goes to St. Mary's on this side. St. Mary's can play some defense, man. 24th in effective field goal percentage in the last 10. First in rebounding rate. And this is a Grand Canyon offense that's used to getting second chance opportunities. Good luck. Probably not going to happen in this one against St. Mary's. As far as shot zones for Grand Canyon's offense, bad news. They like to try to score at the rim. They're 85th in shot frequency at the rim in the last 10. Good luck with that one. Good luck trying to score at the basket on St. Mary's. They're 34th in defensive efficiency at the rim in the last 10, and that's against a stronger schedule. Yeah, I love this matchup for St. Mary's defense. On the other side, though, we got St. Mary's offense. I'll give the edge to St. Mary's on this side as well. Not quite as significant as the defensive side, but look at the rebounding on this side of the court. 16th to 301st. So let's give some credit to Grand Canyon for the effective field goal percentage, 14th in the last 10, but St. Mary's is 6th. So St. Mary's is going to have plenty of second chance opportunities. And then if you incorporate strength of schedule here, St. Mary's is racking up these numbers against a stronger schedule. Yeah, you got to give the edge to the Gales here. I do have one positive angle for Grand Canyon, though, and it comes here on the defensive side. St. Mary's likes to take a lot of shots at the rim. They're 6th in frequency at the rim in the last 10, so they're taking a ton of shots at the rim. That's what Grand Canyon wants. They're 344th in frequency, 2nd in efficiency. So that's what Grand Canyon does defensively. They try to bait you in to take contested layups at the rim. So that's actually a good matchup for Grand Canyon defensively. That being said, the three-point shot should be there for St. Mary's. They're 136th in frequency in the last 10, so they're not a three-point happy team or anything, but they're 7th in efficiency. So they're very efficient when they do take those shots. Grand Canyon, against their schedule, still just 202nd defending that shot. As far as betting this game, I mean, if you want to tell me Grand Canyon's defense could give St. Mary's offense problems, I'm all ears, and I hear you, and I think you might be right, but there's no way you could tell me Grand Canyon's going to score points in this game. I mean, on paper, they should be held to 45. So, yeah, I'm laying the points. I'm on St. Mary's minus 5.5 in this one. Like I said earlier, live show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, just like yesterday. We'll go through every single game, make our final decisions. We had almost 1,800 people in there. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I hope to see you back in the comments if you're able to make it. If you want my top bets for all sports parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information is right there on the homepage. Let's have ourselves a great Friday. Hopefully, by the time you're watching this, actually, update. I was talking about the Nevada game early when I started this video. They ended up blowing that lead and losing. So great. But hopefully by the time you're watching this, I picked up some W's in the night games. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.